International Day of the World's Indigenous People, 9th August. The International Day of World's Indigenous People is celebrated on August 9 annually around the world to create awareness and to conserve the rights of indigenous people. It is focused on enriching the culture and efforts that indigenous people experience around the world. Who are indigenous people? Indigenous people are the natives to live in a particular place, that is, the tribal people who are the earliest known inhabitants of that area. They maintain traditions and other cultural aspects which are associated in the region. Except for Antarctica, indigenous people are inhabited along every continent of the world. Since indigenous people are often threatened and violated, the international community has taken some measures to protect their rights and culture. According to UN data, indigenous people compose to be more than 5% of the world's population, but account for 15% of the poorest. These people speak the majority of the world's predicted 7,000 languages and exhibit 5,000 different cultures. Due to various factors, these languages and cultures are on the verge of extinction. History. International Day of World's Indigenous People is observed on August 9 of every year to distinguish the first UN Operative Association on Indigenous Populations Assembly in Geneva in 1982. The day was first articulated by the United Nations General Assembly in December 1994 to be glorified every year during the first international decade of the world's indigenous people from 1995 to 2004. In the year 2004, the Council announced a second international decade from 2005 to 2015 with the motive of a decade for action and dignity. The Assembly also clinched to celebrate the International Day of Indigenous People every year during the second decade. The decade's main objective was to rejuvenate international cooperation for solving issues faced by indigenous people in areas such as education, culture, and other economic development. In April 2000, the Human Rights Development provided a remedy to establish the UN Permanent Council on Indigenous Issues that was affected by the Economic and Social Council. To prevent extinction, the United Nations General Assembly made a decision on rights of indigenous people and announced 2019 as the International Year of Indigenous Languages. Measures provided by UNGA. The following are the measures taken by UNGA to protect the rights of indigenous people: to understand the importance of culture and to promote international cooperation, to share global knowledge and follow the important cultural ethics, to combine the indigenous languages into a recognized system, to amplify new concepts and cherish growth and development, to support the struggles and satisfy the requirements of the indigenous people. What do people do on this day? People from across various nations are instigated to spread the UN's information on indigenous people. Activities may include educational conferences and other activities for appreciation and an improved understanding of indigenous people. Activities are celebrated at the UN headquarters and it is telecast live. The occasion happens from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Natives of different regions come together and start doing activities which explain their culture and tradition. Official logo for political participation. Ribang Diwan from Bangladesh developed an artwork. This artwork was chosen as the identification symbol for the indigenous people and to promote the International Day of World's Indigenous People. The design comprises two green leaves facing each other, nestled with the earth. Blue-colored landscape background with a handshake is pictured inside the globe. This symbol is quoted with "We the people" in the center. The entire logo is embedded within a dark blue background. How to celebrate Indigenous People Day? The occasion usually starts off with traditional dances from natives around the world, then followed by singing, storytelling, and many more. A small conference will be held in order to know more about the indigenous people. Enjoy the traditional food and have a chance to see the old artifacts which are displayed in the celebration for a few hours. The day can also be celebrated as follows. Spend some time in admiring the artworks and handicrafts done by tribal people. People staying at home can celebrate this day by watching the live telecast, learning some words in indigenous languages, and supporting the indigenous people through social media. Attend a local Indigenous People Day event across the country. Share the resources to educate non-natives and support #Indigenous People Day. Take action by getting involved in movements that support indigenous people. Make a gift today to support indigenous rights. Spread the awareness about indigenous people worldwide.